It's been almost 20 years since the Battle of Endor. The Empire is gone, and the First Order skulks in the shadows, waiting for something. The Terrans on Zakul are going through reconstruction, but the generation that fought the Galactic Civil War, and the few still alive who saw the Clone Wars, begin to worry for the future of their civilization. From the Clone Wars to the Galactic Civil War, and now to the modern era, the Terrans have become extremely militaristic. To combat becoming the empire they fought, the Terrans begin to downsize their military. They want their children to enjoy the victory they won. They want them to know a life other than war and conflict, a life the veterans of the Galactic Civil War didn't really know. This, however, does not mean that their military tradition will fall to the wayside. Far from. The Terrans have everyone able to fight go through intensive combat training every year. Beyond this, those who wish to become full-time military must undergo and complete training, the likes of which would put the rest of the galaxy to shame. If someone can't complete the training, then they're thrown out. Those who can become one of the galaxy's most dangerous soldiers. For those who make it into the Terran military, they receive a set of advanced combat armor. Unto itself, a set of armor comes out as plain white. However, the Terrans began painting their armor, a practice that the military allowed. The primary color of the armor represents what planet the soldier or their family fled from during the Galactic Civil War. The secondary color represents the country for Earth or region for a colony. The most common color is black, which represents Earth. It's black due to it being the darkest day in Terran history. For Cadians, it's red due to the bloodbath that the battle became. Every colony has its own color, as does every region or country. However, the only color not included is any variant of pink. The painting highlights the differences of every soldier in the military, but the uniformity of the armor, and the odd way it's shaped, preventing the identification of a species, reinforces the point that it doesn't matter where you come from. You are a Terran, and this attitude also persists to aliens. In the aftermath of the Galactic Civil War, families were torn apart, never to be reunited. The many aliens who fled the Empire found themselves now without a home or a family to call their own. However, something strange began to happen. Survivors from every race began to find comfort in one another's arms. Their old family may be gone, but a new one made up of survivors, began to form. A Twi'lek child, a Terran man, and a Zabrak woman, though not related by blood, would view each other as husband and wife, mother, father, and daughter. People needed someone to find comfort in, with the deaths of everyone they knew. Over the next few decades, the term Terran no longer referred to the people of Earth alone. It now referred to anyone who lived within Terran space, anyone who accepted the culture of the Terrans, including aliens. Across the galaxy, however, every Mandalorian felt a disturbance in the Force, as if someone was ripping them off, as if someone was copying them. After the Battle of Jakku and the ending of the Galactic Civil War, the Terrans vowed that if anyone would ever rise to threaten the people of the galaxy, they would stand against them. For almost 20 years, this vow went mostly unchallenged. This would change when the Chiss came to the New Republic asking for help. They described an alien invader, the likes of which the galaxy hadn't known. Due to the Chiss's imperial leanings, the New Republic was reluctant to act. They believed this threat was something the Chiss had to handle themselves. However, the new Jedi Order refused to listen to the decision of the New Republic. If the Chiss were asking for help, then the threat was real. The Terrans had no love for the Chiss. Not only were they their immediate neighbor and rival, but they had loyalties, or at least friendly relations with the Empire, and possibly the First Order. However, the Terrans believed the same thing as the new Jedi Order. If the Chiss were asking for help, then the threat was real. It had to be dealt with, whatever it was. The Terran military assembled and moved to Silla, where they met up with the new Jedi Order and Ascendancy forces. They were to go on the assault and take back a Chiss world. The Yuuzhan Vong, as the Chiss called them, were doing something to the planet. When the combined fleets of the Terrans and Ascendancy fell upon the planet, they were met with what the Terrans could only describe as living ships. The battle was fierce, but the Vong were scattered, disorganized. If they were an invasion force, they were woefully unprepared. The Allied forces landed on the Chiss world. According to the Chiss, the planet used to have an Arctic environment similar to Scylla. However, the region they were in was much warmer than it used to be. The Vong must have been trying to terraform the planet. On the ground, the Chiss forces mocked the Terran soldiers behind their backs. The variety of color and odd shape of the Terrans' armor was a spectacle to behold, but when the fighting began, they were happy they never had the misfortune of meeting them on the battlefield. The Terrans met the Vong blow for blow, with a savage precision the Chiss would only describe as graceful. For the first time in history, though, the Terrans and Jedi fought side by side against the Vong as they pushed them off the planet. It took time and the loss of many lives, but the Vong were defeated. When the battle finished, the Terrans began an investigation into the Vong. Their organic technology was strange, but impressive. Beyond this, as payment for their efforts in taking the planet, the Terrans took the remaining Vong terraforming technology back to Zakul. Across the other Chiss worlds that were under siege, the Vong pulled out. The Terran military high command theorized that the Vong invasion force wasn't in fact an invasion force. Without documents or other ways to confirm this, it became sheer speculation. But the fact that the Vong were so disorganized, and their forces were nowhere near strong enough to invade a galaxy, High Command believed there was either internal strife prior to the rebellion, a threat greater than the Vong lurking out in dark space, or this force was a mere test of strength, and the real invasion was still coming. None of the choices looked good to Command. In the aftermath of the rather brief conflict, the Terrans returned home with several pieces of Vong biotechnology in hand, including the previously mentioned terraforming technology. It would take time for the Terrans to decipher this new technology. However, in this tech lied the seeds to reform Earth, a prospect that filled the race with hope. Beyond this, the biotech held secrets that the Terrans used in conjunction with their own technology. A decade later, it would prove a vital part in the creation of the Terrans' most terrifying weapon.